Did Blaster make the cut? No, not as of 1.0. It's still got a issue with the sound. Everything else works with it. It's all full speed. It just didn't have the sound fixed in time, just because the guy was really busy. But as soon as that's ready, then we'll make it part of the release. Patch ROMs for various games. Yeah, so we've got we added in a yeah. So basically, we added a IPS patcher, which will auto patch some games. So we've already made a bunch of M2 Engage patches, so they'll be bundled in. Well, they won't be bundled in per se, but they've got a button in the UI which you could download and then put onto your system. And when you import those ROMs, as long as they've got the same name, they will patch. So that's why Sonic Knuckles in Sonic 3 is working. Usually that doesn't work outside the box. It just fails to load, but because I've patched it, we're using the patcher. It now works, and there's the documentation for it. RetroArch, yeah, RetroArch comes with it as default, so you've got full-blown RetroArch. And I also bundle Genesis GX Plus and Pico Drive, so they're all in there as standard, so it covers all the Sega consoles. Yeah, so you will be able to launch ROMs from the stock UI using RetroArch, but that won't be as part of day one release. It's doable, it's all coded in, but it just needs to be implemented better into the desktop app, because we want to improve our scraper. Because bear in mind, we have a scraper for the app, so you could scrape artwork and stuff like that. You can play 32x as of 1.0, but you just load it up through RetroArch. Eventually, you'll be able to play it. You soon be able to play it on the from the stock UI. Let's just change this screen. Give me a sec, and I'll show you what it looks like. Screen capture, monitor capture. Yeah, so there we go. What ROMs have I got here? So, like, for example, I could do something stupid, like drag that in. And then I could select that artwork. Obviously, this is for we primarily aim this for Mega Drive to begin with, but obviously if we add RetroArch, Jesus Christ, my internet's slow. It's probably because I'm streaming. Because obviously we're having to cover RetroArch, which is tons of consoles. It means that we have to like expand the scraper, make sure it's available for all the other consoles as well. So that's why it's not part of 1.0, but technically it's all completely doable. Streaming on 2 channels, yeah, I couldn't get it working on the ModMyClassic channel, it just wouldn't authenticate. Can Nazuki run Blastum full speed when it's compatible? Yeah, Blastum appears to run full speed. I can't tell you exactly until the sound works. Sega CD, again, you could just play it off 1.0 using RetroArch. Yeah, the app got a huge upgrade. How much memory in the Genesis Mini? Well, as you can see there, I've got 111 megabytes left of 170. I don't know, I've added about 20 games, and you probably want to only add 60 games per page. Now, obviously, we didn't include folders. Again, technically doable, but we didn't want to put it in 1.0 because we want to do it properly. So we want to make it seamless, so you could hit a button and it literally just switch all the games. We don't want to have to close the stock UI, wait 5 seconds, and then reopen the stock UI. We just want to make it seamless as possible, so that's why it's not included in 1.0. And I just realised I wasn't even showing you the screen I'm talking about. So yeah, so 111 megabytes of about 20 odd games. So yeah, that's you got plenty enough space in there for 60 games anyway, and that's what we would recommend for one page, because bear in mind that you got 60 custom games and then 40 stock games, so that's actually technically 100 elements on one page, as it were. Does PO improve any default sound lag? Yes, it does. So the main issue of that was that it primarily lagged because the CPU was struggling in certain places. So what we did is got the performance tweaks. So the performance tweaks with the stock clock will function just as well, if not a little bit better than completely stock, because you've got a number of different improvements there. But the main one is obviously the higher CPU speed, so you could toggle that on or off. And yeah, 1.344 gigahertz, you've got no issues really with you know, stock sound or whatever. We'll just wait for the stream to catch up. Does Virtua Racing work on M2 Engage? No, Virtua Racing does not work on the stock emulator. But you could play the 32X version on RetroArch, which is so much better anyway, because the Mega Drive version is just so slow. When you're able to enable turn off music flag, never. Maybe in 1.1. Or you could put a blank OGG file on it. Is it true Genesis greater than Mega Drive? No, you could get fucked, mate. It's Mega Drive always over Genesis. And yeah, so this is just an example of the patching thing again, because obviously this game doesn't work normally. Such a tosser. Yeah, my capture card's really crap as well, so hopefully the audio isn't lagging. But yeah, the video is probably slow as hell. Will that affect XPad support? Asking for a friend. Yeah, ask Rafe about that. I'm still waiting. Streaming your stream on MMT in case we got... Oh yeah, okay, cool. So Advocating's restreaming this stream. That's why it's come up twice. Any other questions, obviously just shout out. I think like one big question obviously would be is it done? Is it ready? And I guess yeah, it is done and it is ready. it's just a case of just putting together the last little pieces so we're ready for release. So just waiting on a couple of things for that. And what's really jarring was that I've been playing Sonic Mania, and playing the original bit is a bit off-putting. Does it brew the perfect cuppa? Fuck that, I don't even drink tea. It's all about coffee. Which probably makes me a really bad British person, but whatever. What's Suzuki's theoretical compatibility RE emulation speed? 32x. Rule of thumb from what I've tested, if you're running it on the 1.344 gigahertz, it will effectively just run any 32x Mega CD game full speed, 60 FPS. I tried a bunch of games and I couldn't make it drop any frames, and yeah, it was it didn't have any issues. There's a stock clock at 1.0. It did, some games lagged a bit, but obviously like Sonic CD, that still played 60 frames a second. But there's no real reason not to use the higher clock speed, so you could just do that. It shouldn't be a problem. Obviously stuff like Dreamcast is okay. Technically we can clock the CPU to 1.5, but that would probably require you taking the lid off the case or putting some active cooling on it, so it's not really an option right now. But yeah, it's technically better than the SNES Mini by a little bit, so whatever the SNES Mini it could do, probably just a little bit better than that, so. Hey, thanks Mark, yeah, good to see you. Long time no speak. Hopefully you get back into it. It'd be good to doing some videos with you again. Canadian, cuppa is coffee here. Like Cuppa Joe, fair enough. 1.3 fofo, holy hell, that accent is thick. Just like you, mate. Yeah, Liquid call that shit and that'll play Red Dead 2. Maybe by Project Lunar 2.0 it'll play Crisis. That's what my wife says. Yeah, this isn't like some pro stream like Stevel's Discord streams. Like, no death Castlevania. Oh god, this capture card's so shit, I really need a new one. But yeah, anyway, I've been playing Sonic Mania, I haven't played it before, apart from a couple of days ago, and yeah, playing the original Sonics is pretty jarring. Does RetroArch and Emulation Station both support RetroBit's 8-button controller? Yes, it does. It supports the 6-button and the 8-button RetroBit, and it supports a bunch of other extra controllers. Technically, X-Pad's support is there, but it's broken at the moment, which means there's a chunk of controllers like the Xbox controllers and stuff that don't work because of that, but someone's working on that right now as we speak. Would I be able to use old Play Sega controller with Project Lunar? Technically speaking, if it's got a USB end and it is detected as a game controller or a gamepad, then yeah, it'll work on Project Lunar. You can just create the mapping and then go ahead. Will Pugsy work? I believe so. In fact, I got Pugsy on here So let's just give that a quick try. Let's save state that. What is the definitive version of Sonic 1 hack or otherwise add to the mini? I don't know actually. I'm pretty shit with that kind of stuff. I don't really follow it. So probably the wrong person to ask. I'm pretty sure I put Bubsy on here. I did. Yeah, well, Bubsy works. So that answers that question. Where the hell was I? Okay. Hi, Star Cruiser translation works on Lunar. Can you test it? I can't test it right now, but if you have it as an IPS patch, you could just use that patch on the ROM and within Project Lunar desktop app, and that should just patch it in for you. Let's get that M to engage theme editor guy, my son. Yeah, totally doable. It's just probably not 1.0, maybe 1.1. Said Pugsy, not Bubsy. My bad. Bubsy is clearly a superior game over Pugsy anyway, so whatever. I'm pretty sure it'll work fine anyway. Did Midnight Resistance get a PL patch? Let's find out. Where's my mouse? Oh, God. Got 3 monitors and everything appears on a different screen. Okay. So these are the games that got patched by default. So these will be available from 1.0. So I don't believe it did. Let me just check. Midnight Resistance. Yeah, no, it didn't, I'm afraid. But that doesn't mean that it can't be added, or someone else will create one. So stuff like that. If we can't make it work in M2 Engage, then you just have to use RetroArch for that. I've played Gauntlet 4 on the stock emulator, and it actually works really well. So that's quite cool because I like that game. I'm just going to quickly grab another beer, so fire some more questions and I'll answer them in a minute. grab two more. Yeah, Milenko, I am drinking bud because it was on offer, so it was cheap to get the bulk buy. But don't worry, I will be drinking something a bit classier later. Do some ROM hacks work alright? Yes, they do, and there is a compatibility list with a list of ROM hacks which have already been tested, and I'm sure someone could link those in the chat, maybe. Advanced Buster Hawk Glade Lancer, what the fuck is that? Piss water, the king of piss. I have an Asian Mini. Which of any games are hidden on an Asian NAND? On the Asian, I think it was just Mortal Kombat and Aladdin. I think those were the only two hidden games. But whilst technically you could enable them and use them quite easily, we decided not to because it's easy enough for someone to go away and add their own version of Aladdin and Mortal Kombat, but if we provided the tools to re-enable that game and they technically didn't have the licensing and stuff like that, I just didn't want the headache from Disney or whoever, because we've provided something to re-enable that. So unfortunately there's nothing else really interesting. Will this be available today? Maybe, maybe not. Looking forward to this. Thank you very much. We've been looking forward to getting this bloody thing out anyway. It's been 3 months solid. But yeah, we kind of took a break for the last 2 days, so today was like the first day back where we was trying to get stuff done. Will we be able to add 32X games? Yeah, so to answer that one, Alice, the 32X, the Mega CD, in fact any emulator like the SNES one or whatever, you will be able to load them from the stock UI, and yes, it's already coded into 1.0, so technically in 1.0 you can actually launch any emulator from the stock UI. Mega CD 32X. The only reason why it's not in 1.0 is because we want to better the desktop integration. So let me switch screen. So basically the main reason why it didn't get added to 1.0 is mainly the scraping feature. So technically the games DB is still down at the moment, but Screen Scraper. Effectively we've targeted the scraping APIs for Mega Drive based things. Actually I think the 32X and Mega CD are scrapable, but for us to do it properly we want to obviously cover all the consoles, so that's why I didn't get added into 1.0. But we might just add that feature in before 1.1 anyway, and just have it as a part of a rolling update. But I think I've showcased that on the video anyway, so it does work. Also, side note, Aladdin Remix works in M2 Engage. Oh, that's cool. Hang on 1 minute. Will it affect it? I might withhold it. I need it. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question. Does the Mini support blast processing, TM? Now, if you actually look at the function call, I actually named the function toggle blast processing, so technically yes. How about further integration with the stock UI, so RetroArch's core? Well, I think I've just answered that. So basically, it won't be a part of day one release, but yeah, you basically add the game and then you could choose from a list of different cores, emulators, and then um, or you could add in your own custom command launch command. So, but it should be as easy as add the game and then select what emulator you want, whether it be the stock one or RetroArch or Blastum, whatever. So it should be really easy in that sense, or you could just modify the command line for that particular game. Can it run Doom? Yeah, it can definitely run Doom. I haven't tried out our Brutal Doom port yet, but in theory it should just work, but you probably need to recompile that anyway. Yeah, Milenko just pretty much summed that one up. So I have no idea how... Oh, fuck that up, didn't I? That's what I get for talking in the middle of it. So I have no idea how bad the delay is in me answering your questions and viewing it on screen, so I apologise. It's probably awful. Does PL have a Brexit patch for EU ROMs? No, it doesn't, but funnily enough, we do... oh, you can fuck off. We do have the ability to force regions on games, so if it's a European ROM, you could force it to be Japanese or Euro-American, so... Close enough, I guess. I actually hate these special stages, they really hurt my eyes. Yeah, it's not perfect, but whatever. So yeah, just keep asking questions, whatever. I think pretty much everybody's read the FAQ and the release page for quite a while because it's been up there a week, so I might have already answered all the questions on that anyway. Also, I just saw... Oh yeah, Nostalgia is here. How's it going anyway? I've just completely lost my fire shield. Sucks. Keep up the great work. I'm excited to play some terrible FMV games with my Genesis Mini. Also, Sonic 3. Yeah, I loaded my console up with about 20 games that I wanted to play over the holidays, and so far I haven't had any time to play a single one yet, so... How do we get Mania on the Mini? Yeah, I don't think that's going to work. It's just creeping around. You're a bit of a creep, so that makes sense. How the fuck do I get out here? Okay then. Right, that makes sense. Yeah, so this won't be a huge long stream, so make sure you get them in while you can. Because I've got to do some stuff for Project Lunar later, and break in between. Does it output? Yeah, the mini outputs 720p. They disabled 1080p in the kernel, but we can actually technically re-enable 1080p within the kernel, and then we could also change the stock code to run at 1080p. So in theory, yeah, we could run everything in 1080p, but it's going to have some sort of performance impact on that. How's performance input lag if you compare the stock emulator with Genesis RetroArch cores? I haven't tested it, to be honest, Swiss. It's all pretty much the same. Obviously, there's going to be a handful of games which just run crap because of emulation, not because of the performance required for it. Take all the time if you want to rest. Yeah. No, I will definitely be resting and drinking. That's not a problem. We'll run ahead set to 2 frames. Yeah, run ahead will not work, or not properly work at all, on a single socket or SoC. Just purely on the fact that run ahead is effectively like running 2 versions of the same emulator effectively, so it's like double the resource, so it would never, it's not, maybe on the Odroid XU4 where you could probably do it for 16-bit, but not a classic. Is it going to be a tutorial how to install Project Lunar? Yeah, so I know Restalgia's done one, Johnny Tro, there's interactive demo, like tutorial wizard thing, which is actually built into the application, which tells you how to install, and there's a shitload of documentation online, so on the actual release page, so it's all there. Emulation Station is available at launch, so you'll have access to that, and I know that there's a guy currently working on themes specifically for the Mega Drive Mini with Emulation Station and Project Lunar, so that would be pretty sweet. Emulation Station is a USB only mod though, because it's like 40 meg uncompressed, so it's too big for the NAND, because it would take up like a quarter of the NAND without you having even done anything, so we basically made it USB only. But you don't need OTG to use USB, so you could plug a USB stick into the any one of the controller ports, or if you want to use both controller ports, you could use a USB hub, or you could use an OTG adapter and plug a USB hub into that, so you've got loads of options when it comes to that. Igo is going to patent soon for 1.1 build. I do feel like we need to patent soon. It's been a bit of a running meme, hasn't it? I didn't realise that Tables actually collects these bubbles for you, which is pretty stupid. Bezels edition. Yeah, so custom bezels is a thing. I know that some of the guys have even created their own little Project Lunar bezels. The theming stuff, the custom bezels, the custom music and stuff, will probably add that as a option in 1.1. Like a whole theming option, I think that would be pretty cool. So I'll probably stay on for like another half hour, 20 minutes. Just trying to see how well this capture card held up, which it's not. And try out or play a bit of Sonic really. So, Wi-Fi sync. Yeah, so technically you can synchronize your console with the desktop app over Wi-Fi, but it's a bit buggy, so we didn't list it as a feature until we improve it later on. Hi, Enric. I think that's right. Or just Penguin, that's probably an easy way of saying it. Someone recreated the MD Mini UI in ES, I think. Yeah, they did. That's the same guy who's doing the theme for Project Lunar in ES. But he's recreated the UI, and then he's been theming it for different consoles. Oh shit, it's too slow. Oh, that's alright. Yeah, so he's basically copied the M2 Engage stock UI, but then is theming it for all the different consoles and stuff. So you could use it for you know, like all the other stuff like Neo Geo and all that shit. Because technically, bear in mind, I know people have done it a lot with the SNES already, but the Sega's actually a bit more capable of emulation than the SNES, so I can definitely see it being you know, the go-to option effectively for the in terms of the little classics. I mean, the PlayStation's obviously better than all of them, but I think the Sega and the Nintendo have got a bit more nostalgia behind them. Is CD32... yeah, Jangles, we spoke about this earlier. Yes, it is. It technically works in 1.0, but you won't have it on day one or on release. Only because we want to improve the integration into the desktop app. And when we've done that, then we'll make it public. But yeah, technically it's already doable. We just haven't added it in yet on purpose. But it will likely come out as a rolling update in between 1 and 1.1. It's just like a day's worth of work, but we didn't want to include any extra features. We just wanted to focus on fixing bugs. Does anyone know here if Sega Model 3 core is still coming to RetroArch? No idea. Is ES more memory efficient? Depends. If you're using the grid, it's actually worse, I think, than the stock UI. But if you've got it like list, I don't even need the bubble. If you just got like normal list mode, then I would say ES is obviously better because you can load up hundreds and thousands of ROMs without it glitching. Yeah, themes again. We'll probably add in customizable theme options in 1.1. Technically all doable, and people have already made their own custom stuff for the bezels and themes and music and stuff, but it's just a case of not wanting to do so much and include so much for the first release. I mean, Christ, we've done a huge amount of features for the first release anyway, so I think adding more would just be a bit risky. Fuck. Well, shit. Oh, great. Tails just drowned. He probably deserves it anyway. Happy holidays, JK. have you tried any Disney Sega games like Aladdin? Yeah, Aladdin works, and so does the new Aladdin remix ROM, so that works nice. How much input lag does threaded video add into RetroArch? It doesn't. Not for 16-bit stuff anyway. USB drive is supported in 1.0, same with OTG. In fact, if you look at the ModMyClassic.com site on the Project Lunar tab, it's got a full feature list there. What's in and what's not in 1.0. And what will come out in 1.1 or whatever. Yeah, same thing. Custom borders will be 1.1. You can make your own and add them in manually if you really want. The payload that I coded up pretty much accepts any patching of any of the files within the stock UI and stock emulator, so you can pretty much patch out anything you want. So I mean, we'll obviously add in the facility to do it from a nice pretty GUI, so you don't have to manually create stuff, but technically speaking you can manually create that kind of stuff and then patch it in yourself. Project I don't know, Tulio, you tell me. We'll find out as soon as you give me those package installers. But I sent some shots fired at that remark. Working title for Project 1.1 Project Sooner. Yeah, I mean, the other crazy thing people got to remember is like the sheer amount of features we managed to get in, and the desktop app, and everything else, and get it all done, and UAT it within about 3 months. It's pretty crazy to think about. It is not a tumor. Get back to the chopper. Oh, motherfucker. Oh shit, that was pretty painless. Mate, you've knocked out the park. Mary Diwali? I can't even say it. Diwali. Diwali, yeah. When is even that? Isn't it like a whole thing that lasts for 30 days or something? That's really ignorant, but whatever. Yeah, this whole thing's running through the default UI. What else do you have on your MD Mini? I guess I'll show you. So this is the stuff I actually added because I wanted to play on this. Aladdin, Alien 3, that's actually well good. Bubsy, that's more for nostalgia. Cannon Fodder, Earthworm Jim 2, Echo 2, Gauntlet 4, Fantasia, is that a stock game? I can't remember. Jungle Strike, Mega Bomberman. Micro Machines 2, that's amazing. All the Road Rash again, amazing. All the Sonics. So it's Sonic and Knuckles in Sonic 2, Sonic 3, Sonic 1, 2 and 3, Spinball. No, Spinball's stock in it. Streets of Rage 1 and 3. Taz 2, Syndicate, Smash TV, Lion King, Toe Jam and L, Panic and Funkatron, Urban Strike. Yeah, that's what I got. I use an OTG with the PS Mini. What would you recommend? The cable adapter? Any of them, JK? Doesn't really make a difference. How many work on the project? Oh, I don't know. I'm gonna die. I used to hate this bit as a kid. Oh, maybe not. Oh, motherfucker. I don't know, I think like six primary devs anyway. Got a load of questions here, so catch up. Hello, Matthias. Yeah, 6 people. How many games can you add? We generally say 60. And obviously when we add the folder stuff in later, you could add more. Yeah, I'm still sad over devs at Strike and the stock UI. We get any emulator, we still can't make it work. Can I use this on Mac? Yes, technically you can. There's a tutorial how to make it work on Mac, and I know that a few people have actually installed it using Mac. I was trying to add Boogerman. Yeah, good luck with that, Penguin. I noticed on my Asian Mini they've altered James on Super Shinobi title screen. Huh. Okay, fair enough. You tried the True Blue Mini Ultra Drive. What did you think about it? Yeah, it's a pile of shit. We'll leave it at that. Might be a silly question. Can you remove the original games included for the Mini? You obviously could remove and add all of the games that you add within Project Lunar, but we didn't allow removal of stock games purely on the basis that just modifying and adding stuff and removing stuff within the stock UI as it is super complicated, and making it so you could remove stock games as well on top of that was just like a huge recipe for disaster. So that's not to say that we won't do it in the future, and yeah, it's probably a lot easier now we've got a better understanding, but not for 1.0. It was just not an option. Got a message redacted. What a bitch. Yeah, so any other questions, hit me up. Probably be here for 10 minutes at least. Yeah, FIFA works. I didn't put FIFA on here, but FIFA definitely works. I know that was one of the patches because it didn't actually originally work without the patch, so I think there was a secret down there, I can't remember. NBA again, yeah, I think that was patched, so that should work. I've definitely seen some NBA screenshots. Can you auto boot into emulation station? Yeah, so I am going to lose count of how many times we're going to get asked this question. So I'm going to show you right now. You will be able to select whatever element that you want to auto boot to. So from the boot menu, you could set it to auto boot to RetroArch, Stock UI, or Emulation Station. All you do is load up the boot menu and just press start on the thing that you want, and it will auto boot to that every time you restart the console. See, I could set it for all these different things, and I could also turn it off because I like booting to the boot menu anyway. Stuff like blast them, so that's an extra UI mod thing, so I could set it to auto boot to blast them if I really wanted to. So you got that flexibility. Is Project Lunar out for release? Are you guys still working on it? JK, we are effectively not working on it. I am just waiting on a couple of files, and we'll leave it at that. Vin, will there be an awful trailer for the release? I have heard that there will be, and I have heard that it's absolute shit. So it's going to be glorious. You don't know about that game and UI. I need to shave a couple more seconds. Yeah, fuck off. I'm not sure about 240p, but it could definitely do 480. And I think 480 is actually an option in here. So, in theory, even though the stock UI is not capable of outputting at 240 because it's all set to run at 720p, you could run stuff at 240 if you really want, 480 if you really wanted. How the hell did I not get hit? But yeah, they left in the code in the kernel for 480 and obviously 720p and interlaced, I think. But they commented out the 1080p. And I think the reason why they commented out the 1080p is because the console would have defaulted to 1080p output, and that would definitely have been too laggy for general consumption. But in theory, we could enable it in the kernel and then change their HDMI output binary to initialize the HDMI into 1080p instead of 720p. Or at the very least, you could run games in 1080p. I think that would be a better way of doing it. So like the menu could be in 720p, but then the games could be in 1080. But yeah, it should resolution changing should be possible. If you change the resolution, you need to reload the. You do need to reload the stock UI though, because it fucks up all the assets. The border graphics are just split in half and mirrored. Shit. Can you place different ROMs into one game? Let's say I have a translated version of Japanese. I want to change the language. Good question. No. But very possibly yes in the future. So this came up a few times, and I know for a fact that some people have argued against having that feature and said we should just remove it. But the guy who does the desktop app was pretty keen on it. So I guess the best way of describing it is M2 by default, so their stock setup, even though it's 40 games, the consoles actually had like over 100 games on it. And the reason for that is that they had different regions of the game. So if you change the language within the stock UI, then it would technically change what region of the game would be loaded when you selected it from the stock UI. Therefore, there's no reason why we can't do this. So you can have your... So you could say if you had like added a Japanese game, which naturally didn't have a English translation, you could add it. So if you was running in the Japanese language, it would load it in Japanese. But you could then also add the English variant to the English version. So if you selected English from the stock UI, it would load the English version of that game. That was stupid. Will this release soon? Oh my god, yes, it will. And I think if we didn't, then I think we'll be mean to the end of 2021. Does M2 Engage emulate any Sega System 16 drivers? The M2 Engage only emulates Mega Drive. Now, yeah, they used the same emulator for GBA, for example, but the libraries for those emulators aren't bundled with the release of M2 Engage on the MD Mini. So it is purely Mega Drive only through the stock UI, stock emulator. But you can obviously eventually play other different consoles from the stock UI just using a RetroArch core or whatever. So that's how that will work. Just for everybody's sake, the main reason I didn't add support for multiple ROMs for the same title is because the internal memory is very limited, so to maximize the number of games you can have. Basically every variant of the game eats up a ROM slot from the max games you can add. And that's on Tulio. He does the desktop. Holy shit, that's a big spine. Oh, okay. Probably head back in soon, so I'll probably stop playing Sonic now. Before I go 1.7 gigahertz, yeah, good luck with that one. So yeah, if anybody's got any last minute questions, and just throw them out now, because I'll probably be heading back in a few minutes. I'll give you all 4 minutes. Hacked credits, more like corrected credits. Yeah, Annie May did stuff. Can you add more wallpapers? Yes, but not on day one release. Well, technically you can make your own, but we haven't given you easy tools to do it, so we'll add those in the 1.1 probably. Restouch doing the same day release video? Yes, he is. Rings of Power defeated you? No. M2 engaged doesn't like EEPROM games, that is correct. If I run Star Wars 32X ROM, will it melt my face with electric force powers? I promise nothing. So this is interesting. I might just actually stay around for a few more minutes. So let's switch screen. So I'm gonna add in Aladdin Remix. This shit just eats up my internet when I'm streaming. Yeah. Whatever. Okay. Well, that's good, isn't it? My USB hub just crashed. Hang on. This capture card's so shit. Okay, now we're back. So let's sync that in. You said initially the idea was to remove that. Yeah, it will be, kinda. It's complicated. How's the development of a new version of BleemSync? It's actually almost pretty much done. It's been a bit of a chore, but I know Comp's pretty much ready with that one. Is it still a possibility down the road? Yeah, it's still a possibility. Favorite Sega Genesis game? Shit. Favorite Genesis game? I'm gonna be a real cop out and say Aladdin. Actually, I love that game as a kid as well. Final Cut. Oh, remix, whatever. Who shot first, Greedo or Swing Flip? Definitely me. I'm ready to add some more games. I think a lot of people are. Figured out the problem was USB I was using with it. Okay, Rocket Knight. Rocket Knight? That is not a good game. Is it possible to change PSC startup animation? Yeah, but I don't think we even coded it in. Huh. So this is the new ROM then. So this is Aladdin remix, not the original. So I don't actually know what's different apart from this game. Or this version anyway, should I say. It feels like the same game. Maybe higher refresh, I don't know. I guess it kind of feels smoother than the original, but I'm used to the PAL anyway, not the NTSC. Music, animations, cut content. Okay. First level seems the same anyway. Oh fuck. This is actually a lot easier than I remember it being. No, actually, I retract all my previous statements about favourite game. It's got to be Flashback. Easily favourite Sega game. Even though it's not exclusive to Sega, but whatever. God damn. Alright, let's leave it at that. I came for Sonic and Knuckles, watched Aladdin, I was not disappointed. Yeah, we've been playing Sonic and Knuckles for quite a while. Unfortunately, I'm probably going to head off. Have a couple more beers and chill out for a bit while I wait for a certain someone to give me some files. They dumped this from the latest release. This is the same one we could be playing on Switch on the collector's edition. Huh. Does jet fuel melt the mini CPU at 1.7? Very likely. And the boss patterns are different. Okay. I'm very impressed about how well this project turned out. Well, thank you very much. Hopefully when you install it and use it, you will be saying the same thing. And yeah, we'll wrap it up there. Just switch it so it doesn't play any music. Well, thank you very much for chatting a load of crap with me. It will be released extremely soon. Like I said, there's no more work going on. It's done. A lot of the stuff has been documented. All the videos are ready for it. Just need a couple more things and then it will be good to go. Yeah, of course, I own every single ROM that I put on this console. Yeah, compression, everything's using the M2 compression, so it's Z standard. Right, I'm out. Thank you everyone. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your patience, blah, and support. And I'm sure we'll be speaking very soon. Haha.